Yeah, good day, Esther. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. So, we are going to look at the UK NMC's update with regards to the English language requirement. Yeah, so the meeting has started. It's very unfortunate they are not showing any video of that, but I'm going to give you updates on what's happening so far. They've got some agendas. The English language requirement is not the only agenda on board. I think it's the seventh thing they'll be talking about. But at the moment, they are doing some introduction of the dignitaries that are present at the occasion and then showing some kind of respect to the late Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, so I'll keep updating you on what's happening so far. Looking at the program outline, they are going to welcome the chair and probably give an open remark and then apologies for absence. I mean, those who couldn't attend the meeting, they'll look at that. They'll declare some interest. I don't know what that is at the moment. And then they will read the minutes for the previous meeting, which was held on, I think, November 23rd, 2021, thereabouts. And then summary of action and matters of decision. The first one on board is the English language requirement review. So that will start at 10:10 to 10:50. So probably I'm going to talk over this matter for just 30 minutes. I think 40 minutes, yeah. So I'll try as much as possible to let you know whatever is happening. Um if you are joining this live stream, just like this video. Nambila, good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Just like and subscribe to this channel. Yeah, Nambila from Zambia, thank you very much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate. For those of you joining my live stream for the first time, my name is Seth Dakwatma. You can simply call me Kobe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let me give a quick review about what the English language requirement is going to be based on. You know, some time back or about 8 weeks ago, the AK NMC came up with some English language consultation that they were actually seeking the views of the public to see how well they can make changes to their English language requirement. So with that, they were going to look at how they were going to work on their approach to the English language testing, which is the IELTS and the OET, and then they were going to look at the need to consider other evidences of English language requirement like using your employer references or using your post graduate qualification. So that is, these were the two things we were going to look at. And a few days back, what happened was the UK NMC, when the consultation was done, they had to probably relay whatever responses that came up to an agency to analyze whatever responses that have come in. And based on that, they came up with some proposals. I think I did a live stream on these proposals some time ago and said that the UK NMC has lied to us because it's like they had changed the date for which they said they were going to implement the new English language requirement from October 2022 to January 2023, which for me, I think we were never told the truth because early on they had told us that once the changes come up, they will quickly implement it in October. But here's the case, things have changed. But those are proposals. Today is the D-Day. I'm going to listen to whatever they have to say about it as to whether the proposals were the permanent one or there will be some kind of changes to it. So let me keep you updating on what's happening so far, and then but for the meantime, if you have any question, you can just ask so that you know what to look at. So Basil Dakak, thank you very much for joining. You said is there any changes regarding OET score? So based on my previous proposals that I did on the English language requirements, the UKNMC said they were going to make changes to how the test scores are combined. So let's say if somebody has written IELTS on 2 occasions and would want to combine these two test scores to meet the UKNMC's requirements, they are going to work on the minimum score one will need to be able to combine the test scores, okay, as well as the OET. So we are going to hear the final verdict today from the UKNMC, and then we can break it down from there. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Please subscribe to this channel if you are new on my channel, and also like this video so that YouTube will showcase it to as many people who need it. All right, so at this particular moment, what's happening is They are welcoming all the chair. David Warren is welcoming everyone to the meeting. He happens to be the MC for the program, including the special welcome back to Edward Walsh, their Director of Communication and Engagement. And Sir David has also given a special welcome to their new Executive Director for Professional Regulation, which is Leslie Maslin, and a new Interim Executive Director of People and Organizational Development, Jenny Smith. And at this particular moment, they are now inviting all attendees to observe a minute of silence to the remembrance of late Queen Elizabeth. So let's see what happens. But for the meantime, you can leave your, what do you think? What are your expectations? What do you think will come out of these proposals? Is it going to be in favor of the many, or probably it's still going to be that kind of, I don't know how to put it, but is it going to favor many people, or you think, there will not be much of changes? What do you think? Leave your comment in the chat, and then let's look at. Yeah, so Tanu said, let me know where you are watching me from. Just leave your country in the chat so I know where you are watching me from. Tanu said, what about narrowly missed score? Is they applicable for those who are outside from the UK? So what they said about this is that if you narrowly missed the score needed to register the UK NMC, what they were going to do is that they were going to consider something like employer reference. And this is for, this consideration is for people who are already in the UK doing the senior career jobs, healthcare assistants. People who are already in the healthcare setting. Okay, so it's not for people who are outside the UK. Now, what this means is that if you are a nurse in, let's say, Ghana, Zambia, Nigeria, Nepal, or wherever, and you couldn't attain the score the UKNMC is looking out for, or you narrowly missed the score needed to register the UKNMC, you can't use your employer references as a supplement to meet up to the English language requirements, because according to the proposals, it's going to be for people who are already in the UK. Because once you're in the healthcare setting doing the senior career job and then the healthcare assistant roles, what happens is that you're already speaking English, and they believe in the fact that if you can't speak English, you wouldn't have been jamming in that role. So they've limited the employer references to people who are already in the UK. If somebody wrote OET and never made a score, or narrowly missed the score, or if somebody wrote IELTS and missed a score in, let's say, the reading, then this person can use employer references provided he or she is in the UK. Okay, so that is basically the concept. Leave your comment. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate. Leave your comments, and then let's go. All right, so let's see what's happening at the moment. So now what they are talking about has to do with the fact that we recognize the significant cost of living pressure facing professionals. Our fee hasn't increased, so they are talking about the NMC fee. Apparently every year you have to revalidate your NMC pin by paying an amount of £120, and they said if not, increase it because of the living pressures on professionals. But they are looking forward to working on that. The next financial year, and they are talking about COVID-19 stars. So at this particular moment, they've not gotten to the step of putting out their updates with regards to the English language requirements. But for the meantime, I would want us to go and look at what they said previously. For those of you who couldn't get a fair, share or a fair idea of what's happening, I'm going to go back to their proposals, review that, and then I'll keep updating you in between whatever discussion I'm going to have with you here. So a dash of smiles. How are you watching me from? She says a nurse in the UK called NMC UK, and they said it's not limited to UK only. That's as long as you trained and studied on a non-majority speaking country, it will be considered. Well, so I mean, according to their proposals, I'm going to look at. We are going to read that, and then you see what they said about that. That is not to say that. I mean, you may be a Ghanaian nurse in the UK doing the senior carer job or doing the healthcare assistant job. You may be from Nigeria in the UK doing the senior carer job. I mean, you still qualify. It's not limited to people who are. I mean, the natives of the UK. Not that's not what they mean. It's for anybody who is in the UK doing the senior carer job, doing I mean the healthcare setting, okay. um but I mean they never specified or they never said anything about people who are outside the UK. So let's look at, I mean, let's review that statement, and then you get to understand what they mean. Please, can you write the link to watch live events for NMC? Apparently they are updating this on their Twitter page. So it's not a video live event. They are updating whatever is happening on their Twitter page. So you can go to their Twitter page, NMC, hashtag NMC Council, and then you can have an update of what's happening. So they couldn't show the live video of the event. So now when you go to the NMC's website, with regards to the council's meeting that happened on the 21st. It wasn't a council meeting though, but actually it was a proposal that came up with regards to the English language requirement. I just want to look at a comment here by Dash of Smiles that says that a friend called the UK NMC is like, okay, it's for people who studied in a non-majority English speaking country. Yeah, so I just want to look at that, review that statement again based on what the EKNMC said, and we can get the actual concept. So, I mean, I wish that apparently it will be a happy moment for all of us if they should consider the English language requirement, I mean, employer references for people who are outside the UK. I think it would be a fair end. Because I really want to say that if that's the case, then it's like if they're only considering employer references for people in the UK, then it's not being fair to other African countries. And yeah, so now when you read the proposals that came up on the 21st of September, this is what happens. Most people who responded to our consultation agreed with our proposals overall. There was strong agreement that a high level of English language proficiency is critical for effective communication between professionals and the safety of those they care for. Currently, most people from outside the UK who apply to join our register take one of our two English language tests, IELTS and OET. Testing will remain the main focus of our English language requirement in the future, and we also proposing to make some changes. After carefully considering the consultation responses, firstly, we are proposing, so that's the first proposal, let's look at it, to standardize the minimum scores we accept when combining test scores. So they're going to standardize the minimum score the minimum score they accept when combining test scores. So actually, they are not going to reduce the general score. So currently, if you are to register the NMC, you need at least an overall band score of 7. You need at least 7 in the speaking, in the reading, and in the listening, and then at least 6.5 in the writing test. So these scores remain the same. But then if let's say you wrote IELTS on the first, you've written your first IELTS but couldn't attain the score, and then you want to resit, what happens here is that should you not meet the score as mentioned, then you are likely to combine the two test scores that you've had. And what this means is that they are going to reduce the minimum score needed to be able to combine test score, two IELTS test scores or two OET test scores. So what that means here is that, per the current criteria for combining test scores, you should the score should not be the duration between the two test scores should not be more than 6 months. So if it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you can club or you can combine. And the you should I mean the least score among the two test sittings should be 6.5. So if you have 6.0 in any of the sittings, you can combine. So what they are saying that they are going to reduce the minimum score. So which means that instead of 6.5, it can be 6. That if you get a minimum score of 6, you can still combine. I don't think they will take this to 5 or 5.5. No, I think the minimum will be 6. And probably, I think that is what you are likely to hear in the final verdict today. And looking at what they stated here, they are going to standardize the minimum scores they accept when combining test scores and extend the period for combining test scores from 6 to 12 months. So instead of looking at the 6 month duration, it's been extended to 12 months. So what this means is that if you wrote your first IELTS somewhere in January and you are writing your second IELTS, let's say next month, should you not meet the score, should you not get a score the UK NMC is looking for in the first sitting, in the second sitting, you can combine the two. Okay, and it's all because at the end of the day, it's like the duration for combining test scores has been extended from 6 months to 12 months, and that's the new proposal. So that's the first proposals they are looking at, and I believe that I'm going to hear this in the verdict today. And then the second proposals were enable employers to provide supporting evidence of English language proficiency, and this is where the controversy is. So they said that we plan to accept supporting evidence where an applicant has trained in English in a country where English is not a majority spoken language, or narrowly missed passing the English language test. So let's look at that concept again. But before that, let me see the comments that have come up. So the lady that answered my call said, as long as English is spoken by a majority of the people in that country, then that person can use employer reference. I even told that English is our official language. Okay, that's fine. We hear this apparently from the NMC today, from the nurse in the UK. Okay, that's fine. And then is Sunday. Thank you. A dash of mouth. Okay. Please, what time will the meeting end? Apparently looking at the I think it should end somehow around 1 thereabout UK time. And then day is coming from Tubara. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Please, can this be backdated? Results from months back. I think, yeah, because IELTS should last for 2 years. So if after, if the new, changes are implemented and your IELTS score has still not expired, you can still use it. Yeah, you can still use it. Okay. So I want us to finish up with the what I was talking about, and then we'll go back to look at the new updates on board so far from the UK NMC. So the second proposal was about, enable employers to provide supporting evidence of English language proficiency. So I think it's been confirmed here that they will consider employer references from people who are not in the UK but are major English. I come from countries that have English as their official language. But the question is, does the UK consider Ghana to be having English? To have English as our official language, you know, because if that's the case, when you go to their website, they listed some countries that could use their training as practice. As their training and then practice as evidence of English language proficiency. And most African countries are not part. What this means is that we are not considered to be major English speaking countries. So it's much more of, a controversial topic. And I think the final verdict today would prove everything. So so they are looking at proposals or supporting evidence where an applicant has trained in English in a country where English is not a majority spoken language. Okay. And then has narrowly missed passing the English language test. So basically these are the two criteria for which they would consider employer reference. Okay. And let's move on. This proposal will allow employers to provide objective information and evidence to us about someone's use of English in a health and social care setting in the UK, including evidence from interaction with people who will use services. This proposal will provide greater flexibility for people who are already contributing to health and social care in the UK without affecting the high standard of English language skills needed to deliver safe and kind and effective care. So let's look at that line again. This proposal would provide greater flexibility for people who are already contributing to health and social care in the UK without affecting the high standard of. So I mean, it's much more confusing, but I think you hear the final verdict today and see what's happening as to whether employer references are for people who are outside the UK or those already in the UK. Okay, so what they are saying is that if you narrowly miss the required score needed to be able to register in the UK NMC, then you can use an employer reference. That is one. And if you train in a country where English is not a majority spoken language, you can use your employer references. So we are hoping that at least most African countries will be accepted in this regard so that the pressure of IELTS, the pressure of OET, I mean, because most people are not right, I mean, are not pursuing their UK dream because they think IELTS is difficult, they think OET is difficult. Some are quitting on so many occasions and are not passing. It's like, I mean, they are wasting their time and money. So if employer references become an option, and I think most people would vouch for pursuing their dream here in the UK. But I also think that because employer references, I mean, most people who are applying for UK nursing, I mean, jobs and trying to register the UK NMC, I mean, half employers are already working. The pressure, the competition will be high, and you have to step up your game to be able to get a job. So let's look at how that happens, and you are good to go. So keep asking your questions. Thank you very much for joining. So let's go back and look at what's happening so far at the meeting. All right, so let's see what's happening so far. What's happening? So they said that our consultation on pre-registration education program standards has now closed. We had over 2,200 references, so that's not what I'm looking for. I just want to see what's happening at the moment. So most people are waiting for the language standardization part. I think that's the seventh part, the seventh matter they will talk about on there, and that will start around 10:10 to 10:50. So you've got 5 minutes more for them to be talking about the English language, I mean, requirement review. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's keep praying. I mean, it's my hope that the employer references are considered across board. That at the end of the day, even if you should write IELTS and then not miss the score, you can still back your score up with an employer reference. So that is a positive thing that you are all waiting for. This is Marcel Da Costa. When will the information be updated? So the time for the English language requirement review is 10:10 to 10:50. So you've got 5 minutes more. It's now 10:06. We've got 4 minutes more for them to start talking about the English language review, and we get to know whatever proposal that come up. Okay, so keep your fingers crossed. Keep sharing this live stream. I'll keep updating you whatever they said. Whatever they said. But for now, I think they are dealing with their issues on education program standards, and the English language requirement review is not the only topic. It's not the only thing they are talking about at the moment. Um, they are looking at other matters as well. And I think we are all here because we are interested in the English language requirement. One that is said, we just go our way. We are all waiting to hear positive, feedback. So Unboxed Saka said the meeting doesn't end till 13:45 UK time. Then let's see. What's this? The meeting doesn't end till 13:45 UK time, only when we would come to know the decision. Yeah, so apparently as I said, the meeting, the English language requirement review will start at 10:10 to 10:50. So you get to hear what's happening. Yeah. So Mavis Mando said good morning, fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I mean, I don't know why I asked myself, so why am I even advocating for this IELTS or English language change that much? I mean, it's because for me, well, I would say that most people, there's an opportunity, and for people to be able to get this opportunity, it's like they have to overcome a stumbling block, and that is the IELTS or the OET. And most people have tried their best, but are still not meeting up to this score, or are still not overcoming the obstacles. And it's like, okay, at least I've tried. Let me just back off. But for me, I think that in as much as most countries can speak English, the UK NMC should be able to do something about the English language requirements so that at the end of the day, anyone who has this dream can easily pursue it. It's the UK has got shortage of nurses, and as a matter of fact, they are looking for quite an appreciable number of nurses. Yesterday, I read an article that said that the UK is short of 47,000 nurses, and they are going to reshuffle their recruitment task force so that at the end of the day they can get nurses in there. So if they are looking at this solution, and at the end of the day it's like, okay, they are not making changes to their English language requirement, which is much more of a stumbling block for most people to register with the UK NMC, then I think they are doing nothing. And when they came up with this, making changes to their international task force recruitment, the UK NMC has also held in high esteem, and I believe that some time to come, they may even change the requirements you need to be able to register. To be able to register with them. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And I think this is one of the reasons why they give a listening ear to the public about reviewing their English language requirements. So let's go and see if they've come up with a new update so far. Okay, so let's see what's happening at the moment. Let's see what's happening at the moment. All right. So it's almost time for them to start talking about the English language requirement, and then you get to know what's happening. Yeah. So keep your fingers crossed. If you're hoping for a positive feedback, just keep your fingers crossed. Okay. You'll get there. Keep your fingers crossed. You'll get there. Keep your fingers crossed. If you have not liked this video, I've seen 30 people join. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. My aim is to just give you the updates and then run a commentary for you to understand what's happening so far. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep liking this video, keep sharing the live stream, and let's talk. Leave your comments. I want you to leave your expectations. What do you expect of the UK NMC? What do you want to hear? Leave that in the comment section. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? For all you know, whatever is stating here would be, I know today may be a happy moment for some people, and may also be a sad moment for others. But whichever way, I'm only hoping that at the end of the day, the majority will be happy. That somebody who has written IELTS some months back will be able to go back, pick that IELTS result, and then start doing something with it. So just keep our fingers crossed. At the end of the day, we are going to hear positive feedback. So Godfrey, thank you very much. Your question, let me look at your question. Let me see what's happening. Can you please let us know how we can watch the NMC live event on Twitter? So go to when you get to Twitter, search for, or just go to the search button and then type hashtag NMC cancel. Okay, and then you can get a live update as well. Yeah. To go to Twitter, click on the search button and then type hashtag NMC cancel. Now the cancel starts with capital C. The cancel starts with capital C. Okay, you can get the update there. So let's see what's happening at the moment. Um, so no further updates yet. What do you expect? I just want to hear your comment. What do you expect from the verdict today? Do you think it's going to be in your favor or not? So some people are patiently waiting for the UKNMC to talk much on the English language requirement. So someone said, I wish the council the best as they take decisions for the betterment of the profession. I'm particularly interested in the new English language requirement for registration by the international NMC. So that is what everybody is waiting for. That is what everybody is waiting for. The updates. That is what everybody is waiting for. And it's quite unfortunate they couldn't show a live stream. I mean, a video live stream of whatever is happening. They are just updating stars on their um, sites. For the meantime, just leave your comment. So remember that they are looking at the approach to testing. That okay, should we reduce the minimum score for combining IELTS test scores or OET test scores? And should we consider other alternatives of apparently for one to provide his or her supporting evidence with regards to English language? So they are looking at employer reference. And one may ask, so are they not going to consider postgraduate qualification? That let's say you did your degree, you did your master's, you've done your PhD in in English. Are they not going to consider that as aspect as well? So with that, they said they are still not convinced that it will be a better way of proving one's English language proficiency. So, they think they have to get more time to look into it before they consider that. But for now, they are only considering the employer references, and that is what they are looking at the moment. So we shouldn't be surprised if they never say anything about the postgraduate qualification. So that is it. People are patiently waiting. We are all waiting for what happens. It's now 10:15, which means that they should start talking about it now. They should start talking about it now. So I think the meeting should probably end around 11:30, 11:30. So the majority of the discussion will be based on the English language requirement. And I think most people who will go there will be keen to listen to whatever is happening at the moment. Yeah, so Leslie Nkrumah, thank you very much. Where are you watching me from? She says, have they started the meeting? Yeah, the meeting has started, but they've not started talking about the English language review. The other matters they are considering, they are looking at it. Once that is started, I'll let you know. And then Arab said, I missed 0.5 in both reading and writing. But I think when they say you have narrowly missed the score needed to register the AKNMC, they are looking at you missing just 0.5 in one aspect. Let's say you need 6.5, at least 6.5 in the writing. So at the end of the day, if you should get 6.0, which means that you missed 0.5. Okay, and you are likely to use your employer references as a backup. But if you made 0.5 in, let's say, the overall score in reading, in writing, then I think they are not going to you fall outside the criteria. That's what I think. But let's wait and see the final verdict, because they never said much. They never explained much of it in their proposals. So let's see. um Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I've got 40 people online. That's amazing. Sishan, I don't know if I'm mentioning your name right. Hope they reduce 0.5 in writing, because most of the people are struggling in this model. Well, that is what most people are saying. But in as much as many people are struggling with the writing, um, that has been the major focus over the years, because initially the writing test was 7.0 and they reduced it to 6.5. So for me, I don't think they are going to reduce the Just understand that they are not reducing the overall score. They are not reducing the overall, the normalized IELTS score the AKNMC wants, but they're only making changes to the minimum score you need to be able to combine your IELTS test score. So just get to know that according to their proposal. Okay, so I don't think they are going to reduce writing to 6.0. Maybe that may come up in the combining of IELTS test score. That okay, instead of having at least 6.5 to be able to combine your score, this time if you get 6.0, you can still do that. So let's wait and see what happens. Let's see if any update has come up at the moment. So I think they've started talking about the English language stuff. So let's wait and see what updates they come up with at the moment, and then I can give you the feedback. But if you want to have a fair share of this, you can go to if you have a Twitter account, just go to Twitter, click on the search button, and then type in hashtag NMC cancel. Okay, make sure that you are starting the cancel with capital C, and then you can also get the update as well. Everybody is patiently waiting for this moment. I think most people they are not concentrating on whatever is the other stuff, but um they are all waiting for the moment of the English language requirement review, which I think should probably, according to their plan, it should start at 10:10 to 10:50. So let's wait and see the updates that come up, and I will let you know. Okay, so but for the meantime, just keep putting out your wishes. What do you wish from the UK NMC? Should they consider postgraduate qualification together with the employer references? Should they reduce the score? The actual score, and not focus on the minimum score one needs to be able to register with, to combine results. What do you think? And if you have written IELTS before, let me see your hands in the comment section. If you have written IELTS before, let me see your hands in the comment section. Have you ever written IELTS before? And what was your score? And what are you expecting? I've written IELTS before. I remember I wrote IELTS once. It was a scary moment though, especially when the results is about to come. It's not a very good experience at all for me. And I understand, everybody is trying to escape IELTS. Not because, I think it's because of how it's been structured. Um, the format and everything. Yeah, and even the amount you need to register to be able to pass once, because most people fear, because I know the days like, so what happens to the money I registered with? Should I fail? And even looking at the effort you have to put in, will you be able to, I mean, go through that same process again when you have to re-register? These are all stuff that put stress on people, and it's like, I can't write out again. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Keep liking, keep subscribing. Um, keep liking, keep subscribing. So you are still waiting for them to say this on the English language requirements verdict. So these are my expectations. I think nothing much is going to change about the proposed changes they've come up with. And as Dash Smile said, I think, yeah, if they are considering employment reference across board, I'll be very happy, you know. But when it comes to some countries, last time I was speaking with one recruitment agent, and it's like, if they are to consider employment reference, there won't be that kind of originality, because he cited an example in one country where most of the nurses, the nurses do not, it's like they speak their major language in practice. They don't use English as, they don't speak English on the ward or in the hospitals they work. So at the end of the day, if you are to consider employer references, and what happens here is that these people can, because everybody has got an employer, and sometimes the kind of relationship you even have with your employer can um make it so easy for you to get it, even if you can't speak English. The employer can nicely write something for you, and you can use that as a proof of your English language proficiency. And meanwhile, you the individual may not be good at speaking English, and then you come in here, and at the end of the day, it's like you are struggling to practice, or you don't even get to understand what patients say. So most people are also vouching against the employer references that it won't be fair and genuine. And others are also saying that even if they should consider the employer references, it's going to mount competition on the UK NMC, and also in searching for job, because everybody can get employer reference from an employer. And they are also looking at, okay, so if they are to consider employer references, who amongst your employer, what category of person should the employer be to be able to write a supporting evidence for you? That's another thing they are looking at the moment. So let's see if there's any new updates, and then I can let you know. Now for the meantime, just leave your ideas. What do you think? Your expectations in the comment section, and let's see. So let me see. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Minaski said she's watching me from India. Thank you very much. From Zambia, of course, Zambians here. Thank you. So let's see some comments that have come in. Um, so you will see that most people are rating the IELTS but couldn't attain the score they are looking out for, and everybody is waiting for some kind of positivity. Okay, so this is Arab. Thanks from Kenya. Thank you very much, Arab, for watching me. This from Zishan from India. Thank you. Arab, any update from NMC? So you are still waiting for them to put out. You are talking about other matters at the moment, but you are waiting for them to update any new information on the English language requirements. So that's what you are waiting for. They still not said anything so far. So someone said, look forward to hearing from you, sending you. Okay, so everybody's waiting patiently for that. Zishan said, will they accept 6 in writing for combining? So they said they are going to reduce the minimum score for you to be able to combine your IELTS test score. So for me, I think if they are to reduce the scores, then writing can come down to 6.0 instead of 6.5. Because they said to be able to combine your scores, you should have at least 6.5 in both settings, okay, in whichever aspect. So I think if they are to reduce the score, then we are looking at 6.0 for the writing and something like that. Any change score reduced listening, please. So listening, well, I don't know for now. Hope they will increase score in writing. They will increase. I don't think they will increase. We are all vouching for the scores to be decreased. So why then they increase? No. At my button, essay, cheat and send. So Helen said I failed reading with 1 point. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. Let's hope that the changes here favors you. And then this Idris. The new UK Prime Minister said they are going to see into IELTS results in different sectors. Is it not going to affect health sector? I don't really get what you mean. The new UK Prime Minister said they are going to. So I don't mention that the UK government, they are, as at the moment, the UK healthcare system is short of 47,000 nurses. Okay, which means that they are short of staffs, they are short of, I mean, there are vacancies in here, and they are looking for every way possible to recruit nurses across board to fill these vacancies. And for them, they think that the process the UK NMC adopts to allow international nurses to register with them is quite difficult, and that they are looking at the UK NMC to be able to make some changes to the procedure as well as the English language requirements. And that is, I mean, that's one major reason why they are reviewing the English language requirements today. And yeah, so the subsequent, I mean, years or months to come, they also look at the procedure and the requirements you need to be able to register with them. And okay, so let's see what's happening. Before I continue with the other comments, the NMC Council is now being presented with our proposal for changes to our English language requirement following the consultation that we ran, which received more than 34,000 responses. Thank you to everyone who got involved. Okay, that's fine. It is essential that everyone joining our register has strong English language skills. Our requirements aim to provide a fair and reliable approach to ensuring can professionals can communicate safely and effectively in English. So that's what they've said so far. So they are still talking about the English language requirements. They are still talking about the English language requirements. They are only waiting for their final verdict, and we are good to go. So they said that it's now essential that everyone joining our register has strong English language skills. Our requirements aim to provide a fair and reliable approach to ensuring professionals can communicate effectively and then safely in English. So let's see what happens. Um, all right, so let's see the new update that has come up so far. All right, so let's keep. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what they said. Let's see what they said. So you could say a huge number of people, I mean, a greater number of people came up to undertake the online survey, which amounted to 34,000 responses. And they are going to look at the responses from this survey and then make some changes to the English language requirement, as they are saying over here. They are waiting. Sorry, now they are talking about the English language requirement, but they're just waiting for them to say the final verdict, and then we are off from here. All right, so let's see. um I took the exams on April, and I had a speaking 7.0, writing 6.5, reading 7.0, listening 6.0, and I have over I got 250 in writing and then B in other three. 6.5 is okay in writing, it's already low. Well, that's what somebody is saying. As people are fighting for the writing to be reduced, someone says it's low. So, Jitan saying, did you apply for Ireland? No, I failed in. Okay, so they are just about there. Any updates about speaking model? Not yet. What do you mean by employer reference on non-majority speaking English? Some countries are not considered to be are not considered to have English as their official language. So in this case, you are considered to be a non-major speaking English country. Okay, and the UKNMC is looking at you giving you the kind of, I mean, that kind of opportunity for you to use your employer reference as evidence. They need to increase score in speaking. Wow. So I mean, in as much as we are all fighting for the scores to be reduced, someone is vouching for the scores to be increased. So we all have our preferences and our opinions. Every model will be C plus, relax. Okay, let's see what's come up at the moment. So nothing yet. Let's see. All right, so let's look at what people have said so far. Um, at least 6.5 in one model, and then above 7 in the rest is a good score. That's Mary Edu. Um, they can apply in Ireland. They demand 6.5 in one of the two models. Okay, so I think it's usually about the country you prefer or the country your heart's desire. Okay, why can't they do it like that? But I don't want to go there. Okay, NMC reduce IELTS score or OET. Not yet. They are still talking. They reduce scores in reading and increase in writing. India accept employment reference. India. So the question is, are you considered to be a non-major English speaking country or a major speaking country? So that will determine as to whether they should accept employer references or not. Any new updates so far? Let's see. Okay. We are still waiting on them to see what they have to say because we are eager to hear something. We are eager. Okay, so let's see what happens. So, just listening to what's happening at the moment, we are pleased to say that Council has approved the changes to our requirements. Council has approved the changes to our requirements. We will now prepare for implementation of the changes from January 2023. So it's been confirmed that the changes, to their requirement has been approved. So the question is, what changes are they talking about? They've not mentioned that yet. Okay, so let me just finish reading this and then we'll go through the changes they are talking about in a minute. We will now prepare for implementation of the changes from January 2023. We know a lot of people are interested in this update and we will share more about what this means in the coming weeks. What changes are they talking about? So let's see. So I don't know if they are still they are referring to the proposed changes I talked about. Because they said for now they've confirmed that the changes will be implemented in January 2023. That has been confirmed. Okay, but we are waiting for what changes they are talking about. Is it the ones, the ones we know about the fact that the minimum score for combining test scores is going to be reduced? And even if it is going to be reduced, they've not come up with the minimum score. They've not said anything about it yet. And have they finalized that they are going to use the employer references? They've not mentioned that yet. So let's wait and see. But for now, what I can tell you is that the date for implementation of the changes has been confirmed, and that is January 2023. Okay. January 2023. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and then become part of the family. Jeannie said there is any chance for the same score of Ireland. I think Ireland has got a different regulatory body. So this is for the UK NMC. So the Ireland has got a different national regulatory body and they require a different score. I've not heard of them making changes to their English language requirement. That stand to be corrected, but that's what I know for now. So next up, the council is being asked to approve our annual monitoring report on compliance with the Welsh language scheme. So I think they finished talking about the English language requirements. So they never made mention of the major changes that did happen, but I think they are still sticking to the ones they mentioned. The one I just read, starting from when I started the live stream. But over the weeks they will keep updating on whatever is happening. They've moved on to the next topic, which is about their annual monitoring report. But just to give a summary of whatever has transpired so far, you know, the UK NMC has confirmed that the changes have been approved. Okay, so let me just read what they say. We are pleased to say that Council has approved the changes to our requirements. We will now prepare for implementation of the changes from January 2023. We know a lot of people are interested in this update, and we will share more about what this means in the coming weeks. So apparently, we just have to wait for the changes have been approved, but as to what changes, we don't know. But as I said, they came up with some proposed changes on the 21st of September 2022, and that is to change the approach to their testing. And they said that they are going to reduce the minimum score for combining IELTS results, and then the duration for combining IELTS results from 6 months to 12 months. And then they said they are going to standardize the other supporting evidences that, an international nurse can basically use employer references as a proof of English language proficiency. Okay, so they are making us aware that it's been approved, and these changes are going to be implemented in January 2023. And then in the coming weeks, they will keep updating on whatever changes that have been approved. So for now, I think we still have to keep our fingers crossed. But for me, what I'm thinking is that nothing has changed, considering what they said on the 21st. Okay, so I don't know if you've got any update. I believe some people are following on there as well. So let's see if they've come up with. I think they've moved on to a different agenda, and so let's see. Let me just look at this pretty quick. So that's it so far. So what are they saying about OET now? So what are they saying about OET now? So what they said so far is that the changes have been approved by the council, but as to whether they are referring to the changes, the proposed changes they made on the 21st of September, no one knows at the moment. But they said that they will keep updating us as the week comes by. But the only thing I can say here for now is that they said the implementation of the changes will start in 2023 January. Okay, 2023 January. So what they said about the OET is it has to do with the fact that it's about combining. Remember the score, the actual score for the OET, which is an overall score of I think B. The OET is scores in alphabets. B. And I think the least score one should get for the writing is C plus or something like that. Yeah. So they said they are only going to make some changes to the minimum scores for you to combine two OET scores or two IELTS scores. Okay, and they are also considering the use of employer references. So these are the major changes that has come up, and they said they are going to implement the changes in January 2023 instead of October 2022 as we were promised. So my question is, if anyone model 6.5 and the rest 3 model, will you accept it? So that is, which means that you have narrowly meshed. You see, their concept of you have, their concept of you missing the score narrowly is about not having, losing 0.5 in one model. So there you can probably top up your score with an employer reference. Okay. So that's all I can say. Is there any changes in reading? No. I think the only changes that may come up is probably the minimum score one needs to combine IELTS test results or OET test results. Okay, they are going to change the score. So when you go to the UK NMC's website, let me just go and then let you know what's happening at the moment. I think that will give you a fair idea of how they mean by changing the minimum score they are looking out for. Okay, thank you very much for joining. If this is your first time, subscribe to my channel once you get more updates on what's happening. Any changes in reading? No. Hello, is there any changes to the reduced score of writing to see? It's not yet been confirmed. They said they will update us in the coming weeks. I heard the employer reference is only for those in the UK. How true is that? So it's quite controversial. We are just waiting for them to confirm that. Um, but I would say it may be somehow favorable to people outside the UK, especially if you are considered to be a non-majority speaking country. Okay, so that's what they've said at the moment. Keep liking this live stream, keep liking and sharing. All right, so let's see. When you go to the UKNMC's website, you are going to look at the old stuff and then compare it with the new stuff. Okay, so let's see how they've said about the English language requirement. Um, so now let's look at this. For you to be able to register the UKNMC currently, okay, remember that they accept two forms of English language test. If you're an international nurse, they accept the IELTS, or as some people prefer to write, the IELTS, whichever you pronounce it, and the OET. These are the two English language tests they accept. And they've outlined some scores an international nurse needs to get to be able to register with them. Okay. So what they are saying is that with the IELTS, you should get an overall score of at least 7. They've not changed that, and at least 6.5 in the writing session. It's not been changed, and at least 7 in the reading. It has not been changed, and then 7 in the listening and then speaking. It's not been changed. And then they are saying that they accept both the paper based and the computer based. It's not been changed. The academic text, and they accept the academic aspect. It's not been changed. And then they are saying that we are not able to accept the IELTS indicator test because the security measures for the indicator test are, now they tackled on the requirement one needs to be able to combine IELTS results. When we say combining IELTS results, let's say that you wrote IELTS in, let's say, January 2022. You couldn't meet the scores I've mentioned. Let's say you were short by let's say 1 in the reading, which means that I had 6.0 instead of 7. What this means is that you can't register with the UKNMC, okay, because you have not met their requirement. Now, at this juncture, you have to resit. So let's say you felt like I can be from January to somewhere like April. You can prepare. You would want to prepare for 3 months and then rewrite. You wrote in, let's say, April, and then still couldn't attain the score that the UKNMC is looking out for. Let's say in January, the test score was probably were short by 0.5, which means that it has 6.5 instead of 7 in the reading, it has 6.5. And then you wrote in April and you were short by, let's say, 6.5 in, and you were short by 0.5 in the listening, which means that I had all the aspects correct except the listening, which you had 6.5. Now, looking at the score you had in January and the score you had in April, you could see that the least score comparing the two is 6.5. Now, what this means is that you can combine, okay, you can put these two test scores together and then register with the UKNMC, and it is acceptable. So, in the course of the English language review, one of the major concerns was to reduce the minimum score one needs to be able to register with the UKNMC. And currently, to be able to combine your test scores, you need to set the test within 6 months of each other. but now it's been increased to 12 months. That's the new update. It's been increased to 12 months, not 6 months anymore. And then you are tested in all 4 sessions at the same time. That's one of the criteria which still remains. And then all scores in both sittings are not below 6.5. So now they are going to change this aspect. Okay, so probably I'm thinking they are going to change that to 6.0, but they've not mentioned it in the new update. They said they will keep updating us in the coming weeks. They've not mentioned that in the new updates. They said they will keep updating that in the coming weeks. Okay. Which means that the I mean all scores in both setting should not be below, let's say, 6.0 if they should reduce the minimum score needed for one to be able to register with the AKNMC. And then the writing, I'm thinking they've not said that though, but if they are to reduce the score, I'm thinking they can look at maybe 6.0 or something like that. If not, they'll still maintain the writing to be at least 6.5. Okay, so the long and short of it all is that they are looking at, they've accepted the fact that they are going to reduce the minimum score for one to be able to combine 2 IELTS results or 2 OET results. That is confirmed. Okay, and then they are also they've also mentioned employer references that has been approved. Okay, but as to whether it's for those who are already in the UK or those outside the UK, it's not yet certain. They said they will update that coming, weeks. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But for now, what has been said is that they are going to implement these changes come January 2023. Okay. And for the OET, they are still looking at changing the scores for combining 2 OET test scores. So that is what has transpired so far at the moment. So now let's look at some comments people have come in with. They hold us. I don't think I can read everything. Any changes in the reading? No. Remember that they've not changed the actual scores you need to be able to register the AKNMC. Like the overall score of at least 7, it's not been changed. At least 6.5 in the writing and at least 7 in reading, listening, and speaking. It has not been changed. The same thing applies to the OET. Nothing has changed. You need at least grade C in the writing session. You need grade B in the reading, listening, and then the speaking. Okay, nothing has changed except that if you wrote 2 OET exams or if you have written 2 IELTS exams, they are going to change the minimum score you need to be able to combine these two. Okay, so that is what you have to take notice of. I know it's quite disheartening that they've not openly said what score, what minimum score they are likely to consider. It's quite unfortunate, but they said they keep updating us in the coming weeks, and I won't let your ears hear once they come up. There are a lot of comments. It's quite unfortunate. Yeah, I know they've not been open in this meeting. Someone said this man know nothing. Okay, that's fine. Guys, NMC Council has approved of the changes. Okay. Which calling? So okay, tell me what are the changes? Why? Um. So why they can't implement the changes now? That I can't really tell. So let's see if something new has come up. If not, then that is it. We just have to wait for them to update whatever changes that will be said on their websites. So at the moment they've gone for their break, which means that nothing more on the English language requirements. So thank you very much for joining this live stream. The long and short of it all is that if I've approved every changes, whatever proposed changes that were made on the 21st, which is changing the minimum score for one to combine IELTS and OET test score, and then supporting evidence as using the employer reference as supporting evidence for people or nurses who are coming from non-major speaking English country, and then people who now only miss the IELTS or OET score. Okay, So just take notice of this. And they said the implementation is going to be done in January 2023. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Just keep your fingers crossed, and then let's see what happens. Apparently we are hoping for them to update, to put out everything that happened in the meeting in a post form, and later than I mean, no, notwithstanding, we can get to see that on their website. So I just promise that I'll bring you every update you need to know about this. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for joining. If I couldn't read your question, I'm sorry. Thank you. They will update in the coming weeks as per the Twitter account. Yeah, so that's what I said. Thank you.